Hi, welcome to We Why Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 10, Love in the Fast Lane.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
I get it. With speed
I
dating.
I thought it was kind of cute, the speed dating.
I did too.
We start out with Giselle talking to her daughters, Grace, Angel, and Adore. She wants to talk about Pop's will.
Well,
And this
before
was,
that, she does say that her girls are fourth generation to go to an HBCU, which I did have to look up, by the way.
yes.
Historically Black college and universities,
Yes.
which is very, that's commendable. Fourth generation.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's amazing.
And I wonder if they're going to the same one. We still don't know that.
We still don't know. I know because we talked about it last week, and she
I
doesn't.
know.
She's not saying. So, that's all right. Maybe they just, some. I'm sure some housewives share it, some don't.
Yeah. We'll have to see. But what she tells us about Pop's will is very interesting to me. So his original will went missing. And then 2 days after his surgery, he supposedly signed a new will. And she's contesting it in court.
As she should. There's no way he was cognizant enough to sign a new will a couple of days out of brain surgery. Right? That's what he had.
Yes.
There's no way. My mother had similar surgery.
And there's no way he would have wanted to.
Right. That's the bottom line. There's no way that man would cut his children and grandchildren out of his will. He just, we didn't know him personally, but
what we knew of him.
Yes. She was obviously very close with her father, and so were her daughters.
Yes.
And I'm sure her siblings were just as close. So none of it makes sense. I'm glad she's contesting it, and I really pray that she's successful.
Oh, I think she will be. Because I guess he's remarried is really the situation.
I guess he's remarried. And who knows? Maybe it might not have even been his wife. It could have been his wife's children, or, I'm just saying it could have been, a few there, there's other options.
So if she gets it thrown out in the state of Georgia where he lives, if you die without a will, 2/3 of it goes to the survivors, which would be her and her family. And if not, they get nothing, which he would never
Where
want
does
that.
the other third go? To the state?
I'm guessing to the state.
That's something, isn't it?
That's crazy.
It sounds to me like he was a wealthy man, right? And had something to pass down. So wouldn't you think he would have a copy of his will at an attorney's office? I guess not everybody does that.
No. Listen, I've learned through firsthand, through family, don't really assume you know what's going on. And
you're right.
Whatever happened, and this is where they're at now. So,
yeah.
He stood, she said this, that he stood on generational wealth. And, this got her, that's,
Yes.
That's what you do.
Absolutely.
This got her thinking, if she was to, get married, she doesn't want anything like this to happen. And she spoke to Jamal about it, and he's going to be getting married again soon. So he let her know that he put everything in trust for the girls, and that supersedes any will.
Yes.
Which is very good to know, right?
Yes.
And, Giselle still says she's not going to be getting married. And her daughters are like, well, why don't you just do what Dad did? Like, you don't have to be single forever for us. But she, you know what? I think she's a great mom.
I don't trust these people in the streets.
Yep. I think she's a great mom. Listen,
I
think
do
she's
too.
A great mom.
And I don't blame her. I wouldn't get married again if this one don't work out.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
I got nothing. I got none.
Yeah.
And I'm still not getting married again.
Yeah.
One is quite enough.
Yeah. So the next scene we see is TJ's making pizza for Stacey.
I can't figure this guy out for the life of me.
He is so
as soon
bizarre.
as I think I got it figured out, I don't have it figured out. And that pizza looked disgusting.
And
I'm not opposed to a Boboli crust. I have used Boboli crust. But what did he do? He put olive oil on it. He put mozzarella cheese and grape tomatoes.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing in pizza making or in relationships. He needs a new book or something.
Something. Like, Is he gay and he's just her friend and he wanted to be on TV? Can't figure it out.
I can't figure it out either. I mean, after the crazy pizza making, he says to her, I know you were stressed at Wendy's party, but he felt like he was an Uber date. And she's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you never checked on me. She's like, I don't think this is fair. I don't think we talked about this last week. Like, this is, I mean,
He's a
she's working.
gross man.
Right.
She's
grown
on a
ass man.
TV show.
Right.
You're on TV, TJ. You know how this works.
Yeah. I mean, he just didn't even make any sense. He really didn't make any sense. And then, and she apologizes, which I didn't think she needed to. And she says it won't happen again. Again, didn't think that needed to happen. And then he asks her if she's thought about hiring a forensic accountant. Right. Now he's getting all into her business with mediation.
Yep.
What is that about?
Agreed.
And she's like, well, I didn't really share everything with him, which as you shouldn't.
No, please don't.
Right.
Please don't. Yeah, because now I'm starting to think like.
Right. What's he doing?
Right. What are you doing? Because do you remember at the party when he was talking to Ray and he was like, yeah, and then I found out that other co-stars were getting $50,000 bonuses. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah.
I just heard him talking about IBM computers.
Yeah, they were talking about that. And then I think it was Ray he was still talking to. He was talking to somebody at the party about other people that he, like coworkers that were getting, I'm assuming he was bringing it up because they were making bigger bonuses than he was. But, yeah, like, is he just trying to tap into that money? Because I think her soon-to-be ex has some dough. It sounds like it, the way they traveled and...
Yeah, I don't know. He just gives me a creepy vibe.
Yeah, something's definitely off with this guy. Definitely off. I hope, I wonder if they're still together. Oh, he was the bartender on Watch What Happens Live that night.
Yes.
Cheer, sure.
Yes, he was. Listen, I'm glad that Stacey said, listen, the ladies said that she shouldn't move forward with the relationship after a 16-year marriage. Like, you need to just slow your roll and get this divorce settled first.
Have those slutty years, Stacey.
Yeah.
Have those slutty years.
Yeah. And get the divorce settled because it's not going to look good for you.
No.
Especially if, you don't really know what's going on. You thought you did and you thought everything was going to be cool, but now you're finding out maybe not so cool.
Right.
You better slow down. And he says he's not offended by that. But then she asks if he would continue this journey if she were to see other people, because he first thought it was because he wasn't going to have sex until they were married. And what does sex have to do with anything? And she's like, well, what if I were to see other people? And he's like, well, then, I wouldn't close the door to me seeing other people, which I don't blame him. I mean, if you're seeing,
Well, absolutely. But he's not going to be having sex with anybody else, and she probably wants to.
Right.
I mean, come on. Like, you've been with the same guy for almost 20 years. You're getting divorced. Like,
right.
If your marriage is ending, that probably is an indicator that you weren't being intimate for some time anyway.
Right. Yeah. He says, I'll still care about you. Yeah. She definitely needs to get out.
But he wasn't saying absolutely not. Could you imagine, like, when you were dating Bill being like, what do you think? Should I, if I wanted to see other people? Like, I would be like, go ahead, you go see other people and you won't be seeing me anymore. Like, he wasn't like, hell no, which is odd.
I know. He's got just some weird vibe. I don't know. We'll have to see how this whole thing plays out. Then we see Wendy and her sister Ivy. They go to the bar. I thought it was odd that they did the shot of tequila. And her sister says, don't make it too strong. She's like, it's a shot. Like, it is a shot. Like, what do you do?
I don't think she realized what they were doing. That was funny.
I thought it was odd until her mother showed up. And we find out that she hadn't told her mother yet.
She needed some liquid courage.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And, she orders extra alcohol for her mom. And then her mom starts to say the prayer. And then Wendy's talking to the waiter and getting, I don't even know what she was ordering because I was listening to her mom prayer. And her mom's like, you interrupted me. Like,
yeah, what the?
I think she was so nervous and so flustered.
Yes, you're probably right.
I think that she was just like, and, she knows who her mom is. And when her mom scolded her, she's like, I'm sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
So then she says, I have something to tell you. And Ivy's like, can I exit the chat? And she's like, no, 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 you cannot. And then she tells her mom that she recently, resigned from her position at the university, and the look on her mom's face. And then she says, are you crazy? Her mom says, are you crazy? She's like, I lost my appetite. She said, listen, I want to focus on spending time with her children and her talk show. And her mom says she's so lost. And I don't know if she's talking about herself, like her mom is lost, or if she's thinking Wendy's lost. I think she thought she was lost, her mom. What do you think when she said that?
I thought she was talking about Wendy, because she was like, if it's not serving you.
Well, because then, her mom said, if you're not satisfied, move on, right? You still have all your credentials. So
they can't ever take that away from her.
Right. So I think she was saying that, like, she was lost as to, I don't know. I'm not really sure what she meant by that.
Yeah, it was a little confusing.
But she did. I mean, I felt like at the end, she was like, okay, I support you. You know what?
She was very supportive at the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I try to explain that to my kids, too, because they'll be like, I can't tell you anything because of the way you react. I'm like, it's just a process I have to go through. Obviously, I get, very...
You react. You're reactive.
I'm very reactive. But then I have to, like, think about it and settle down, and then I can, have a conversation about it. But I thought her mother was very supportive in the end.
Yeah, I did too. And then Ashley meets up with Giselle, and they're going to go speed dating. I thought
it was yeah.
I thought it was fun.
Scene. So fun. I really, really liked this. And I was thinking to myself, like, I just think that we're seeing such a fun side of Giselle and Ashley this season.
Yes.
And I have to attribute it to Robin not being there. Nobody's accusing somebody's husband of cheating on them.
Right.
Like, it's just not messy. Like, they're fun. Like, I know Giselle's going to have some issues with Karen, but rightfully so.
Yeah.
After she planned that damn party the same day or whatever.
Right. And she still got past that.
Yeah. So God only knows what happens next.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was a great scene.
I thought it was too. And I thought it was so funny when Giselle outside, she's like, what if we like the same guy? And then she's like, so you want to pee on him? Like, mark your territory. I really actually love the Ashley Giselle dynamic. I love it.
Me too.
I love it.
Too.
And, so Ashley, they have 3 minutes each. So Ashley's first date brings her this huge flower arrangement because it's her birthday. He did some digging up or investigating, which I thought was really creepy, that he knew her favorite flower.
Not in a creepy way.
In a stalker way.
Yeah, like, I'm not really sure what other way we could go here.
Yeah, in a stalker way. Like, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was weird. And then the guy that's talking to Giselle, when he sees the flowers, he's like, what's your favorite flower? I'm like, well, that's even more awkward.
Exactly. Don't make eye contact. Don't bring life to the flowers. Let it go.
I was laughing. And I'm laughing at Ashley the whole time because she was flirting with all the guys.
Yeah.
She was flirting with all the guys, and she was having a fun time. And even Giselle, like, I love the way Giselle would talk to them and, like, her banter with them.
I like that guy, Namzi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I liked when they flashed back to that one guy she was dating for a while. She's like, clearly Giselle has a type.
Yes, she does have a type. She does.
Definitely does. But he seemed nice. They seemed like they were vibing. And then that guy, Josh, for Ashley, I mean, she likes a quirky white guy. And this guy's actually got game.
Yeah.
So that was a good fit for her.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny, too, that they both picked the same person for each other, that they each picked for themselves, right?
Yeah. And then I don't know who that guy was who was like their moderator, but he's like, okay, so now what should I do? Should I be like, okay, so the following people step forward? Like, I wish we kind of saw how they wrapped that scene up, because that must have been super awkward for everybody.
Yes, I agree. I would have liked to seen that too.
Yeah.
Then we see Karen and Ray are in the backyard and they're talking about the accident. Karen says that, she realized that she was an emotional wreck that night. Come on, that's still what she's standing on?
I totally agree with you, Wendy. Like, now she's blaming Ray. Now she's blaming the fact that Ray said he wasn't sure if he was still in love with her, 6 years ago? She's blaming that. I mean, your parents passed away how many years ago? Listen, and I'm not trying to minimize that,
but
it's
still.
like, Karen, come on. You
Right.
fucking drove drunk. You
Right.
blew. You were drunk.
Right.
You got to stop blaming everybody else.
Yeah, it's not a good look. I think this is going to be her last season.
I agree with you.
I don't think that she can withstand this because the viewers are. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I mean, you could be shady, you could be the grand dame, but just own your shit.
And the thing is if we weren't simultaneously at one point, now it's over,
Right.
watching Shannon go through the same thing and be
Right.
so humble
Right.
and so accountable, we might be like, maybe she can't talk about it. Maybe she can't admit. Maybe she get no, she can because Shannon just did it on television.
And this is her second one.
So that makes it so much worse. And I'm not judging her. Listen, I'm very much capable of getting myself in trouble in that way. I have had a couple of drinks out and have driven, and I shouldn't have. So I'm not judging her. I'm just saying she has to say, yes, I made that mistake and I did that.
Right.
She still has not done that.
No, I agree.
It's really wild.
I agree. And Ray says, he's been trying to be extra supportive. I've even been your taxi cab. Because I guess if you don't go to court, you don't lose your license until it goes to court.
I guess not.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
So
could go out and do it again.
Right.
Yeah, it is crazy.
And then she's like, we've been married for 28 years. Okay, but what does that have to do with anything?
Right.
It's just, I'm
you
mad
have
at
to
her.
learn how to cope.
Yeah. Yep, you sure do.
And if you need to drink to cope, I get it. I hear you. But don't drive. You have to know at your age that you can't drive.
Right. Yes.
And if you do, you have to admit and take accountability and pay the price.
Mm-hmm. Then we see Mia's on the phone with Gordon, and then Kiarna comes in and she ends the call. I thought this whole thing with her and Kiarna talking about how she's going to help her with Gordon because Kiarna's boyfriend Greg is in the mental health field, so she knows it by association, when really she has a spa. I mean, did I miss something there?
But she came in with her open arms shirt on. You saw that, right?
Did. I mean,
just last week she was telling us that she has her own business and she doesn't work there.
Right.
But she's wearing the shirt this week.
I don't even know. Like,
No,
what are you
right.
doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. This was very, very produced, this scene. Even just the way Mia was on the phone when she came in. And Gordon was like, it seemed like he was like pouring a little bit of his heart out. She was like, okay, I got to go now. Kiarna's here. Like,
First she doesn't even say anything. She just starts talking to Kiarna. And like, he's still on the phone.
Right.
I'm like, this is bad.
It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
It really was. It really was. She does mention to Kiarna that she's going to do a paternity test because Ink wants it. Even though she's convinced that Jeremiah is Gordon's, but he acts exactly like Ink. Okay, Mia, which is it?
And this
Seriously.
is what I didn't like. She said that Ink is being, what's the son's name? Jeremiah? Jeremiah's daddy. He is stepping in to be his daddy. He doesn't need to step in to be his daddy. His daddy lives down the hall. Like, Ink doesn't need to step in.
I know.
Like, know your place. That's not your place. His father is alive and well, and he's right down the hall.
Well, he's not well, but he is alive.
Right. Yeah.
But still.
Don't you think, like, listen, I think it's wonderful that they're bringing light to mental health. I think more shows should do this, but I don't know. I feel like she's like kind of like how people think Dorit's going a little overboard with the alcoholic thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Which we got to talk about that when we're done talking about Potomac. And I feel like that's like you said, like sitting down with Kiarna and coming up with like a plan, like Greg's gonna help.
Yeah. Why isn't Greg there then? He's the mental health professional. What the hell are you doing there?
And why isn't G here? Like, why are we all having this conversation about G and he's not even here?
I mean, have you ever heard of HIPAA?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just crazy to me. It's so crazy. And I know, don't come for me. I know HIPAA is a doctor, a patient relationship. I know he signed a waiver to be on the show. I know all that. But still
though, like, I just feel like at this point, you know how I feel. I think Bravo's just thinking shit. But
Right.
I feel like Bravo should be a little bit more careful with what they're putting on TV. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess they just feel like they're, like you said, he signed a waiver. We can say and do whatever we want.
Yep. Yep.
Outrageous.
It really is. It really is. So then we see Ashley meets up with her date, Josh, and they're playing beer pong.
Which we excel at, by the
Oh,
way, Wendy
well,
and I.
not so much me.
I'm only kidding. We suck.
I'm probably about as good as Ashley.
We try to hang with the 20-year-olds and we suck.
Yeah, it didn't really work. Ashley asks, when was your last girlfriend? And he said 2 years ago. And then he tells her that 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Like, that's a big bomb to drop, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was odd. She asked him about remission when he never said he was in remission. Like, he could still have thyroid cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did say he is in remission.
Right. But you're right. It was a risky question.
Yeah.
On air.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a little bit concerned about his age because he's only 30. I don't remember how old Ashley is. I guess she's probably 40 now. Because
no. You know what? I'm honestly
going to look
that up because I don't know. I feel like she's young. I feel like she was like 28 when she came on the show. And how long has she been on? I don't think she's more than 35, but let's see.
She does say he seems mature.
30
and
years old.
She's 30. So he's 30. I mean, what's 6 years?
That's not a big deal.
But I guess, men are usually less mature than women. And she does have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And he's okay with that. So I guess, that's where listen, I think it's probably better for someone like her who has 2 kids to get somebody who is younger, who doesn't have their own kids. And, because then it's just more. It's just more to complicate it,
Right.
I just heard that car.
Holy cow. Did you hear that?
I did. That's crazy.
I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to say.
Okay. I heard it through this, not through like outside.
I know. That's how loud that was.
I know. We really are neighbors, in case you guys
We really
are
are neighbors.
in our own homes.
Yep.
So then next we see Mia's at her apartment with Jeremiah and Juju, and they're making cookies for school tomorrow.
For kids.
I know.
I felt so bad for them.
This whole scene, it just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
Jeremiah asked, why do you and Dad live in 2 different places? And Mia said, because Dad and I are getting a divorce. And he said he didn't know that. And she's like, no, I think we told you. And then Gordon gets there and she starts telling him what the conversation was prior to him arriving, and Mia then asks Jeremiah if this still makes you sad. And Gordon said, because Jeremiah said, yeah. And Gordon's like, it's okay for him to be sad. And he's right. It is okay for him to be sad.
Of course. And just like he said, if he wasn't sad, I'd be worried.
Exactly. Like, I don't know where she thought she was taking this conversation.
I don't know either. I think that somebody needs to get Mia out of the driver's seat of this bus because she is not doing a good job driving it.
I agree. I totally agree. I agree. Gordon says, I've resolved myself to a life after Mia. And Mia says, we need to put the kids first. And Gordon says he thinks that they're doing a good job. Then Juju asks, where did you guys, find each other? Where did you meet? And Gordon says, in Charlotte.
Okay. Tell
this
me
is loaded.
Your mother was a stripper without telling me your mother was a stripper. This little girl knew where her parents.
Yeah.
I felt like her line of
like
questioning was making it seem like she knew exactly where they met.
Even Jeremiah, I feel like he knows why they live in 2 separate places. I think that this whole thing was set up, and it was bad. It was set up so poorly.
So bad.
He finally says in a club, and then Juju says, you can't marry Mr. Ink. And she also says to Mia, you get what you get and you don't get upset. I mean, that was actually the best line. I mean,
so
I think that's what we're going to name this episode. That's what we're naming this episode. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we're calling this one because that was the best line.
That was the best line. But did you notice that Mia said, Kiarna thinks you living here is ludicrous.
Right.
Ink thinks we need boundaries.
Right.
What do you think, Mia?
Right. Exactly.
Because you're putting stock into what everybody else is thinking.
Yep.
That conversation was very strange. It went on too long. It made no sense.
No, It made no
It's
sense.
not something they should have been doing on camera with their kids. Like, if you want to sit your kids down and talk about what's going on, do it privately. I don't think that should have been on the show.
Or maybe get a counselor involved, like
Exactly.
talk to a professional, not someone who's dating a professional, not someone who's dating a professional. I don't get it. I just
Right.
don't get it.
No.
These shows, they just,
I
and Mia says
mean,
she doesn't have any more to give. Like and I get that she feels like she's done. I get it. You know what? She's done with Gordon. She feels like she's given everything she can. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah.
do the right thing.
Right.
Get the divorce, move on, come up with a custody arrangement, and just move on. What you're doing now is this is not good for your children.
No, this is not good for her children.
It's not. I don't know. I have nothing else to say about this.
No, me neither. I mean, I thought it was a good episode. I really enjoyed the speed dating.
I did too.
But Mia, she's exhausting. I feel like she sucks the life out of every episode.
Yeah, because it's always just about her.
Yeah.
When every conversation she's having, whether it's with Gordon or Ink or Key or anybody, it's really only about her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I
I'm
feel
not
like
either.
She's dragging the show down.
I agree.
But I do not want Robin back, for the record.
I agree. No Robin. I would take Candace back, though.
Well, yeah. So what I wanted to say, what did we say? Marie and PK.
Mm-hmm.
It just came out. Somebody like credible said that this is all for a storyline.
I don't know if it was somebody credible. It was a producer from Atlanta, the old producer. What's his name?
Carlos King?
Yes, Carlos King.
That's who said this.
Yes, but
okay.
Again, he's just surmising.
Yeah, I don't really like him, quite honestly.
I don't really like him. I don't really like him either. And I don't like that they put that headline out there, a producer. Because, okay, yeah, Carlos King was a producer. He's not a producer on this show.
He's not anymore.
And he's not a producer anymore.
Okay.
So it's just, that's so leading. It's so leading.
It's so funny to me because I really,
clickbait.
really thought Kyle and Mo were doing it for a storyline. I really did.
I know you did.
I mean, but I never got that impression with PK and Dorit.
I don't think they're doing it for a storyline.
I don't think they are either. And I really do think he probably had a drinking problem and that led to this. I mean, he's in that industry. It's a party industry. I could never work in that industry. I would have a drinking problem. I wouldn't be coming home either. I know myself very, very well. And the other thing was, we were talking about Teddy and how she moved in with Kyle. And I forget where I heard this, but basically she and Edwin are nesting. So
she goes back to the house.
Yes. Just like what Jennifer Pedantry was doing with her husband. And
right.
So yes, she's an hour and a half away from her kids, but that's only because that's when Edwin has them and has full custody of them and is handling everything. And then I don't know if it's week to week or what, but then she comes and stays at the house and he leaves.
Which I think is good for the kids.
I do too, personally.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's best for the kids, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because it doesn't disrupt them at all.
Right. So if PK and Dorit were just honest, they could be doing the same thing.
Right.
With their kids, when I say be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Honest with their kids,
They're old enough. I think that especially their son.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why people are speculating that it's for a storyline because they're not. I mean, it's so interesting, isn't it? Dorit's not telling her kids anything. And then you got Mia asking her son, do you know what divorce is?
Right. It's
like
what?
One extreme to the other.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So that guy, Carlos King, said that he's just opining.
Yes.
That's his opinion.
Yes, there's no facts.
There's no hard facts behind it.
No. And I don't like when people do that. I don't.
Well, you're right, because it does become clickbait. It becomes a title of an article that's not, there's nothing behind it.
And then I do believe, though, Jeff Lewis has had quite a bit to say about the Dorit and PK thing. I'm not going to repeat what he said because I don't know how much of it's just him being Jeff Lewis and how much of it's true because he is, he's a pot stirrer.
He is. That's one thing. I mean, I don't like Tamara, but she said it today. She's like, he's getting in the middle of a lot of housewives and stuff.
He is. He really is.
Yes.
And it's interesting because he's coming back to Bravo.
I know.
I think he would not be doing this now.
Yeah, you think he'd just lay low. He can't lay low. That's just not in him.
He really can't. He
And
can't.
like, Rebecca Minkoff, they were interviewing Rebecca Minkoff because she, Cy had that hot mic moment. Oh, and she was just on Jeff Lewis, and something happened between she and Erin. They were shading each other.
Oh, Cy and Erin?
No, Rebecca Minkoff and Erin. She's not good with Erin right now, or Bryn, obviously. But she said, listen, she was talking about the Cy hot mic moment and how it became a clip. She's like, well, got him more, clicks and got him more likes. And, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how famous you are. Like, that's why you put that stuff out there, to get those likes.
Yeah,
just right.
Just like the same thing that happened with Margaret and Dorinda fighting.
Absolutely.
On the commercial break.
And that was Jeff Lewis as well.
Yes. And Melissa said that, when they go there, they usually have, when they're filming, they have someone from Bravo there, monitoring them. And they say to them, do not talk during the breaks. Do not talk during the breaks.
Teddy just said it too.
Mm-hmm. So that's what he does, He's
and now it's it's his thing. Now it's becoming his thing.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's so funny. I have not been listening to 2Ts because since OC, I just can't do it. And then the Teddy stuff, I just can't do it. I skip it. I see it and I skip it.
I hear you. I only listen to the ones that I'm not listening to them recap anything because I have no interest in hearing what Tamara has to say about anybody because she was a train wreck this season.
Right.
But I liked Rebecca Minkoff, and I don't think we're seeing everything we can see about her on New York.
I'm sure we're not. I probably would listen to that one. I would listen to that one.
Of course, they asked her about the Scientology, and she talks about it. So, I wanted to learn more about her because I liked her. I don't think we're seeing everything we could be seeing.
We're definitely not. We're definitely not. And I don't know if we will because I don't know that she'll be coming back.
And she even said her husband is very skeptical on being on, which is why she has a friend of status in the first, her first season. And she said, and they asked her, well, will he be on camera next season? And she said, well, if, I'm asked back, it'll be a TBD, to be determined, because she doesn't know how he'll feel.
I would advise him to stay away from the cameras.
Yeah. Especially if they're scrutinizing her about this Scientology thing. I don't know if her husband's a Scientologist. I'm assuming he is.
Even if they're not, listen, you don't need this, Rebecca Minkoff. You have $100 million company.
Exactly.
You don't need this. You don't need this in your life. Just like Todd doesn't need it on Salt Lake.
Nope.
Just run as fast as you can.
I wonder if Bronwyn would walk away from the show. So, you guys will hear this. So Lori mentioned in our recap of Salt Lake City that Bronwyn, in an interview, admit to having very bad anxiety. And we all said this explains a lot how Todd acts with her on camera. He's almost trying to protect her when he sees certain symptoms coming out of her anxiety. I know that feeling, and you want to swoop in. Interesting.
I'd be surprised if she comes back. I'll be honest with you. And I actually do like her, but I don't think it's a good place for her because of her marriage. And, anxiety aside, I don't think it's good for their relationship.
No, I agree.
And what's more important, they don't need the money. They don't need it. She doesn't need the fame. She doesn't need it. She can just keep going.
Some husbands really lean into it.
Yeah, they do.
And some don't. I feel like Angie's husband's a good balance. He really doesn't get involved, but if he sees his wife getting, pounded on by somebody else, especially somebody else's husband, he steps in.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But some husbands just, I'd like that. I don't know. Seth does too much. Justin does too much. Well, Seth is barely there, but I don't know.
I mean, we don't see Seth that much at all. And John just is a yes man.
John is a yes man.
That's what John is. He's just a yes man.
He most certainly is, which I don't think Lisa could be with any other type of man, quite honestly.
You know who's a good balance? Happy Eddie.
By far, one of my favorite house husbands, Happy Eddie.
Yeah. Happy Eddie's a good balance, right?
Yeah. How funny was when she said that, certain things she does hurt, the Nigerian community looks down on, like selling the devil's lettuce.
Oh, yes. Oh,
That was
yes. I
so
think
funny.
that is so funny.
That was great. Oh, no, I love Happy Eddie. I think he does a great job because he'll defend his wife, but he's not here for the mess.
And she doesn't need defending. But
No.
she can defend herself.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should check out her talk show. I think it's on YouTube
Yeah.
because I don't think it went anyplace else. We should check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No. No.
Okay. Until next time, thank you for watching and listening.
Bye.
Bye.